Hey y'all, Ronnie here. So I'm back. I popped on earlier today to do an impromptu video for a thought that hit me, and my signal got cut off before I could wrap it up, and I didn't get a chance to finish it. So I didn't want to leave y'all hanging, and it's something that I'm really interested in talking about, so I'm back. And so I'm talking about mirrors and growth. And so for those of you that sat through the first couple minutes, I'm going to repeat myself a little bit, but I want this to be coherent for the whole video for those that are just watching this video, even though I know it's a crazy time to be doing a live video, although Amy, hello, you're on, so I do have a viewer. Anyway, so what I'm talking about is mirrors in the growth process. And this is something similar to the growth process I'm going to talk more about Wednesday at We Thrive. It's the training that I'm going to be doing. And so it's been on my mind. And the thing with mirrors is I believe that we are all mirrors for each other. So, and if there's something in somebody that you see, you can't see something in somebody else that you don't own yourself, that you don't have in yourself. So that works in lots of ways. On a good note, when you see beauty in other people, it's because you have beauty. When you see kindness in other people, it's because you own kindness. So know that. But it also works the other way around. So when you see something in somebody that triggers you and it just totally sets you off, when that happens for me, I realize that, okay, what is it about that behavior that is in me that I need to heal and that I need to fix? And that goes to the growth process, because the growth process, there's 4 stages of the growth process. The first one is you are unconsciously incompetent. That means you do not know, or we do not know what we don't know. The second stage is consciously incompetent. We are aware of what we don't know. The third stage is consciously competent. We know what we need to know and what we need to do, and we're working on it, but we have to really work at it. And then the fourth and final stage of growth is unconsciously competent, where it just becomes a habit. Not only do we know what to do, we know what we're doing, but we do it without even thinking about it. So the stage I want to talk about right now is the unconsciously incompetent. The stuff that you do that you don't know, the stuff that you don't know that you don't know. So, and that's where the mirrors come up. So recently the one that's come up for me is I'm noticing that some people are really short with other people, and that in watching them interact with some people, it's like, wow, they were almost rude to that person, or they didn't seem very nice to that person. And I'm also running into instances where people are talking about, oh, my dog is right here and she just wants attention. People are talking about, hang on a second, no chaos, I'm in the middle of something. Like, people will get really lit up and frustrated, and they cannot believe that somebody was so rude to them. And when I'm looking at the behavior, I'm thinking, but wait a minute, the thing that you're getting upset at them for doing is very similar to what you did to this other person just the other day. And that's when it clicked, because I'm like, oh, whoa. So they're a mirror, so obviously this is happening in me too. So here's an area where I am unconsciously incompetent. I am just realizing now that, wow, you know what? There are probably a lot of times where, and now that I realize it, once you see it, once you see that mirror and you realize it, then you can kind of go back and look at the things that triggers you. So I know for me, and people have said to me, now that I go back and think about it, like I'll say something, and usually with me it's sometimes I can get really laser focused, and sometimes I'm all business. And if I'm under a time deadline, and oh, hey, Brian, baby, yeah, I didn't go home and go to bed. Sorry, I've got to finish this Facebook Live. So anyway, if I'm under a tight deadline, or I'm stressed, or I'm working on something that I'm not really completely comfortable with what I'm doing. It's not something I do all of the time, so it's new. And so that's a little bit of stress and pressure. I can be all business. And when I am trying to get people to do things or answer questions, I can be very short. And I can forget to say please. And I can forget to ask. Yeah, this triggers me. This one, now that I think about it, my mom triggers me in this one all the time. And I'm constantly saying, Mom, would you ask instead of tell? And it's like, whoa. Seriously, that's been bugging me for a long time. And it's just now hitting me that I'm doing it too. And I love it. I just love the growth process. So when I noticed that, so now I'm unconsciously, I went from unconsciously incompetent to consciously incompetent. I still do it. And it's going to take a while for me to break that pattern, but I'm aware of it. So now I'm going to consciously pay more attention when I'm talking to people, when I'm interacting with people, and, am I fully present? Am I really there with them? Am I really listening? When they ask me a question, or especially when I ask them to do something for me, am I really asking them, or am I telling them? Am I being short with them? Am I coming across as rude? Am I saying please? Those are the types of things, because when I see this behavior in other people, one of my first reactions is, you know what? I don't do that. I'm a nice person. Well, you know what? I don't want to do that. I don't consciously want to do that because I am a nice person. But unconsciously, I'm incompetent when it comes to it because I do it. So now I get to work on that. And so when you see this kind of stuff, where I love the whole concept of mirrors, because everything is assigned to us. And so now I'm kind of looking back on some of the other things that have been lighting me up for a long time. And I'm realizing that it can't light me up. It cannot bother me if I don't own it myself. So one of the things that I struggle with is I'm a really good listener. And sometimes I think that's why I really love to do these Facebook Live videos, because I get to talk and I just get to keep talking and nobody interrupts me. But obviously I do that because I'm attracting a lot of people. There are a lot of people in my life that do this. And I have always said, well, I'm just such a good listener and I'm just going to sit there and let them dominate the conversation. And it keeps me from engaging because when that starts to happen and I start to realize that, every time I start to talk, they will listen long enough to figure out what they can say and how they can make something about them, and then they'll change the subject back to whatever it is about them, and I don't get to tell my part of the story, and so it just kind of shuts me down. Well, now I realize when I think about that in connection with mirrors, because obviously I'm seeing that. So if I didn't own it, if I didn't do that myself, it wouldn't bother me as much. I would be able to just let it roll off my back and go, they're doing it again. But it really can set me off to the point where sometimes I've told some people about it, and that's not always a good situation because people don't like to hear it when you say that kind of stuff. So, but I know it's me. I mean, I own that. So now I'm looking at that. I'm looking at that mirror, and I'm looking at the fact that I am unconsciously incompetent when it comes to having conversations, because I do it too. There are times when I'm so worried that I'm going to be a good conversationalist that instead of just listening to the person, now, not all the time, because like I said, I can be a really good listener, but I am recognizing as I go back and look at this, that there are a lot of times when I'm listening and there's something in me that thinks I need to be the expert, or they're counting on it. They want me to say something. They're wanting my advice. They're wanting my opinion. And so I wait until I can figure out what it is that I can resonate with. And then I come back and I make it about me. And I know I do that. I know I do that. And I know I do not like it when people do that to me. So isn't that beautiful? I have now become consciously incompetent where it comes to that. So now that's another thing that I get to be consciously aware of and work on. And then eventually, soon I'm going to become to where I don't do that anymore. And the beautiful thing about that when it comes to the mirrors too is once I get to the point where I am not doing it anymore, then the people that do it aren't going to be able to light me up anymore. So I wanted to talk about both of those things, but especially the mirrors. Because if there's something that you see somebody doing and it's bothering you, take a look at it. That's a sign for you. That's something maybe to take a look at. What is it about me? What is it about me that causes me to be so lit up with that? So I hope that this helped you. I hope that you gained something from this, just a little bit of insight, maybe an aha moment about the whole unconscious incompetence. And so tune in on Wednesday to my Facebook page, or better yet, come to We Thrive, because I'm going to be doing some training on this. And I love the topic I'm talking about. It's not the little things that I was talking about here about lighting me up. I'll give you a clue. It's about receiving. And so I'm going to tell you about when I first realized, and I have been working on this one, you guys, for a very, very, very long time, becoming more unconsciously competent at receiving. I'm not quite there yet, but I had an amazing opportunity this last week when the We Thrive, a bunch of members from We Thrive came over, and some of you may have seen my Facebook Live on this one, helped me clean out my garage. And I will tell you that was a huge victory for me in my receivingness, in my ability to receive all of the gifts that those were. So that's what I'm going to talk about a little bit more on Wednesday at We Thrive. So join us, Cafe Olé, 4:30 to 6:30 at the Cafe Olé by the mall. And if you are not able to join us, check out my live Facebook feed, because I will be going live for that training also. And if you are one of my Facebook friends that isn't able to attend We Thrive because of your schedules, maybe you have something going on every single Wednesday night and that's just not a good night for you, but you love the energy and you love the training and you love everything that we do there. Or if you're one of my friends, and some of you have already done this, where you aren't local, and you love this and you hear me talking about We Thrive, and some of you are like, man, I really wish we had that here. Well, you know what? Our ultimate goal with We Thrive is to go global. So we are trying to expand our We Thrive presence. It's an online and offline group of women who grow and talk about this kind of stuff. So if you like this, then check out my Facebook Live on Wednesday, and just after you've watched the video, just indicate if you want to be added to our Facebook group, because we have a private Facebook group for We Thrive, and we do other things different times during the week, sometimes on weekends, and we also do some community service projects, and we do the giving back to our We Thrive community, which is amazing. Plus, if you are not local, hopefully maybe someday you can help us start a chapter wherever you're at, and you can expand this whole yummy energy of We Thrive to the rest of the people. So that's what I had for tonight. Thank you all for joining me. I hope you got something out of this. I hope it blessed you. And until next time, talk to you later. Bye, y'all.